1, 2, 3.
Hello, welcome to Rock the Cash Bar. I'm Ben Mowbray.
And I'm Diane Gallagher.
Every week we pick one song and do a deep dive into the lyrics and explain the different ways they've been interpreted.
We will also discuss how the song connected to us on a personal level, focusing on all the embarrassing details.
Glad to have you here. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Cash Bar. How are you, Diane?
We're back. I'm good.
We're back. We took a little bit of a break. We did a live episode and then we took some downtime. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
Feeling good?
I am. I don't know if I'm excited about this episode. It's one of those where I'm like, I have no idea where this is going to go. I've done whatever research I can. I might be leaning heavily on you, but I'm ready to just have a goofball ass episode.
Yep. This is going to be a very, very weird one. This is a Patreon episode. This was picked out by our friends at the Dumb Love podcast. And they knew that we needed to just like to have some fun and kind of unwind. We've been dealing with some heavy shit. We've done some heavy songs and some heavy episodes kind of back to back to back to back. So I think they wanted to break it up a little bit. And I don't want to say forced it on us, because there was a time in my life when I absolutely loved this song.
They gave us options, and should we tell the listeners what the other options are? And this is what we went with.
Yes, absolutely we should. I forgot what it was, but
the first one. So I asked them in a group text. This was Sally Brooks and Jen O'Neill, and Sally was like, "Jen, you decide," and I was like, just make it fun. And so the first one was Two Princes by Spin Doctors. And then the second one was I Would Do Anything for Love by Meatloaf. And we both were like, no Meatloaf.
I can't do Meatloaf right now. Meatloaf passed away recently. He was an anti-vaxxer. He would do anything for love, but he won't get vaxxed. And he died at the Battle of Stupid. I don't want to talk about that.
And I'm going to add, I know people loved Meatloaf. Apparently he was great, like vocally or whatever. But like the only things I knew of Meatloaf growing up was that song and that he ruined Rocky Horror Picture Show for me. What it was, but every time it got to his scene in it, I would be like, can we fast forward? I hate this part. Like, I just don't like him.
This guy's reality is nudging me out of my fantasy. It's like Meatloaf is too real. He can't be in that movie. Like, he's Meatloaf.
Yeah.
Like, it shatters your suspension of disbelief somehow.
Not a
so
fan.
Anyway,
so
we're doing instead Informer by Snow. I was 12 years old. And I was on the frozen plains of Canada. And all of a sudden there was like one of our own, this guy from Toronto was like all over the airwaves, and you tried to be happy for him. You wanted to be happy for him. Like, even at 12 years old. But like even at 12 years old, you're kind of like scratching at the beginnings of a beer, just like this. Something about this doesn't feel right, man. Something about this does not feel.
It was like Vanilla Ice, but worse. I don't know.
That's the amazing thing about some Vanilla Ice. I had to go back and check the years. I guess Vanilla Ice went to number one in 1990. I was 10.
Yeah.
This went to number one in 1992. I was 12. And it seems like there's a sea change, like in my life. Like I went from being like an elementary school kid to being a tough junior high school kid.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot had happened to me in those 2 years. I knew some things. I must be the only person in the world who didn't immediately put together that Snow was the obvious kind of heir to Vanilla Ice. Like, I don't know why that wasn't like the immediate thing that we went to, but we didn't. Like, we were just too dumb. I don't know if it was like a Canadian pride sort of thing, or if we just weren't aware, if they hadn't sunk in yet, but it just didn't occur to us that this was, oh, here we go again, not 2 years later.
Yeah.
It's weird watching that video, because where Vanilla Ice had like the big like tuft of hair and the blonde dye and the silly costumes and everything like that, like it's easy to dismiss him as ridiculous. I watched the Informer video this week, and it does look ridiculous, but for another reason. It's because Snow looks so serious. Like he's got his wire rimmed like accountant's glasses.
Yes. Yeah, I wrote a whole thing on this.
Yes. He's missing a tooth, so he's got some tough guy bona fides going on there. Like it's hard to describe, but like he's Vanilla Ice is his own kind of ridiculous. And then Snow came along with a completely different kind of ridiculousness. It was like Snow went into the shop and I'm gonna weld some authenticity onto the ridiculousness and trot back out onto the stage.
So the video, to me, I was like, is this the duality of Snow? Because it shows him in two different ways back and forth in the video. There's him in black and white, and he's wearing, it was popular back then, round sunglasses. They were very like Harry Potter round sunglasses, and it's black and white, and he's wearing the baggy clothes that, you know, we wore in the early 90s. And I'm going to just say it, in the black and white version, like, he's kind of handsome. I was like, oh, this guy's kind of good looking. I'm into it. And then it switches back and forth, and then it shows him in his jail cell, but he's now wearing like regular spectacles, and he in a blue shirt, and it's full color, and he just looks like an accountant. And you're like, this is prison Snow? Like, I don't understand. He looks like if your accountant put out a rap video, you're like, Jeffrey? Like, what are you doing?
That was the big bombshell to me. And again, I'm dumb and not a big hip hop guy, reggae guy, or Snow fan. You know, like once I got older.
You weren't a Canadian, Jamaican hip hop white guy rap fan.
I was not. I don't know if you knew this about me, but I do not speak the Jamaican patois.
Oh my God.
The big surprise to me was how serious this song is.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that it was a goofball thing. Like, I honestly, as much as I've ever thought about Snow, I thought he was some kid from Toronto who grew up around some Jamaican families, learned a little bit of Jamaican slang, and then decided to get into the white boy rap game.
Right.
You know, and I figured that by now he was probably, you know, probably 10 years older than me, maybe a little bit more, was probably reflecting on a little more things like, yeah, that was just a weird thing I did when I was a teenager. That's not what happened at all.
He's got street cred.
I really thought that, like, where's Snow now? Like, oh, he's probably a music manager. He's probably like an A&R guy. I don't really know what A&R means, but it's a word I heard. He's probably working for a record company, you know, or he's like an entertainment lawyer or something like that. It's like, oh yeah, this is Darren O'Brien. You may know him better as Snow.
Right.
I don't know if I've told this story, but a friend of mine when I lived in Los Angeles was he was the child actor who played Chunk in the Goonies.
Really?
Yeah, and you'd never recognize him because he's a fully grown adult. He's an entertainment lawyer. He's got, you know, real responsibilities. He wears a tie and everything like that. But he could not be nicer about it. Like, if his friends introduced him, just like, oh yeah, this is, I forgot his name, but this is, yeah, you might know him as Chunk from the Goonies, and you're like, what?
Oh my God!
I'm like, oh my God, it is. It couldn't be nicer about it. That's what I figured Snow would be doing. I figured Snow would be like somewhere just like, yeah, man, I was pretty.
We were all young once.
Yeah, I had a weird run in my early 20s where I had kind of a successful hit song. Maybe you heard it. Yeah. Informer. So it's really kind of like, I was really hoping to have like, and we will have like a real like goofball fun episode, but it was really kind of shot. Like, there was a weird moment where I'm reading about Snow and I'm just like, oh, you motherfucker. Like, you have to be a real guy with real feelings and a real life who learned about a real culture and a real dialect that has to be honored. Fuck you, man.
God damn it. That's not what we want. We wanted to clown on your ass.
Oh, I just wanted my punching bag Snow. So Snow's real name is Darren O'Brien, and he's from Toronto. He's from a housing project called Allenbury, which is in Scarborough, Ontario. And Scarborough is where you get all the famous Canadians are Scarborough guys. Mike Myers is a Scarborough dude.
Oh.
I think Jim Carrey is a Scarborough dude. They're all Toronto types.
Raise your hand if you just learned that Jim Carrey was Canadian. Didn't know that one. It always blows my mind when I find out a new person is Canadian, and I'm just like, what? Oh, how did I not know that one?
Ryan Reynolds is Canadian.
Okay, I can see that.
Okay,
Shania Twain is Canadian.
Shania Twain is Canadian. Wayne Gretzky is Canadian. Did you know that?
That doesn't shock my brain. Talking.
I think I'm all out of fame. Neil Young, obviously famous Canadian.
I don't know if I knew that. He feels very Americana. Are you kidding me?
Neil Young is straight up Canadiana. Neil Young's dad is Scott Young, who wrote like all of the young adult books that you read as a kid in Canada.
Oh,
like,
really?
If you grew up in Canada, Scott Young, Neil's dad, is basically your English teacher.
Holy shit. But this is coming from the super dumb bitch that didn't know Van Morrison was Irish until like my late 30s, I think. I've said it before and I'll say it again. He does not sound Irish when he sings. He sounds like he's from Tennessee. Where most Irish singers, you can hear it. You can hear it in Dolores's voice from the Cranberries. You can hear in, you know, any of the Flogging Molly, like you can hear it. You can't hear it in his voice. Anyway.
I think it's from the era that he came out in. You know, I think there's something about the Irish accent that really seems to appeal to the American male. Like, I know my dad has one, and anytime I introduce my dad to my friends, they're just like, "Your dad's real cool." I'm just like, it's mostly the accent. Like, yes, he is. I mean, he is real cool, but come on, you're being suckered in by the accent. And again, I know my mom and dad are listening. We could have stayed. We could have stayed in England and Ireland until I was 6, and I had the accent, and then we could come over here. I miss the accent. Yeah. It was taken from me at birth.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I, you know, my friends, we'll get back on topic, I swear. But a friend of mine, like, she's got a British accent and her husband doesn't, but her kid will pick up just certain things from her. Like he says, just certain things. So were there ever any just certain things that you say in an accent? Like her kid says water, you know, but then everything else is not an accent.
Vitamin. Take your vitamin C.
Vitamin, okay. Yeah.
Vitamin got me in 11. Vitamin, aluminium. Those are the words that got me.
Yeah.
Those are the words that got me in trouble when I started going to school. Because when I was real young, obviously I was raised by English and Irish people, so I must have had an English and Irish accent. And then it switched when I got to kindergarten, and the kids were laughing at me.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And then I switched it again when I moved down here, and every time I said A, they would laugh at me. So yeah, I'm totally false. I'm a phony. I'm as inauthentic as snow. So
are we going to structure this? Are you okay? You're going to talk about him a little bit before we get to the story of his song, right?
Yeah, and I'm not going to read. I'll read some of the lyrics, but I'm not going to read all of the lyrics because they are in
3 pages.
It's in a thick Jamaican dialect that in places might as well even be another language. Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm not even going to try it because you can't do it without like doing the fake Jamaican. I'm just not going to do it.
Okay. I'm okay.
And like you say, it's a 5,000 word novel.
Yeah.
So he's growing up in this project, this housing project, in the late 70s, early 80s in Toronto, or a suburb of Toronto. His dad is a cab driver. His mom is a homemaker. In around like 1981, 82, the Prime Minister of Canada was Pierre Trudeau, Justin's dad. Yeah. Pierre Trudeau, who was once, I forget who it was, but somebody once famously said, like, the biggest insult that's ever been given to the nation of Canada. Somebody once sneered, just like, well, it looks like the Canadians have finally found themselves a leader who's worthy of assassination.
Oh, God. All right.
That's a good solid line.
Oh, shit.
Anyway, this is Pierre Trudeau, who supposedly had affairs with the likes of Barbara Streisand and whatnot. And
is he as good looking as Justin?
No, Justin is, I think, a little bit more good looking, but Pierre was good looking in that, like, kind of like late 70s sort of French way, where he kind of like had a real like silver fox, academia, man of letters sort of air about him. Okay. But there's also, I forget what the rumor is, but the rumor is that, well, it's kind of on the record that Pierre Trudeau and his wife were kind of swinging 70s types. Yeah, so there's definitely stories that Mick Jagger might have slept with Justin Trudeau's mom. I forget who it is, but there's somebody who's rumored, who's literally rumored to be that perhaps Pierre Trudeau is not technically Justin's father. I mean, this is all like political bullshit. Yeah, this is definitely disinformation. I forget who it was, but there is a rumor going around that Pierre is not Justin's father, and it's some famous rock star. I forget who it was. Okay. But anyway, moving on. So Pierre Trudeau changes the Canadian immigration laws to make it easier for Jamaicans and other Commonwealth nations to travel to Canada. So a lot of Jamaicans take advantage of that because they're going. The plan is to come to Canada and take advantage of like the education system and things like that. I don't know much about life in Jamaica, but evidently there's not a whole lot of great universities there. So the idea is, if you're a Jamaican, you come up here, you get educated, and then you can come to America, or you can go back to Jamaica, as part of the professional class, which is a real thing that hundreds of thousands, or not, I don't know, hundreds of thousands, but many Jamaicans did. And of course, they're coming over poor, so they end up settling in housing projects, such as the one that little Darren O'Brien lived in.
Okay.
So now all of a sudden he finds himself surrounded by Jamaicans. And you can imagine how seductive that is.
Yeah.
You know, like thinking, like I think that like the most, at least in my mind, one of the most the accents that make people the most happy. Like I think maybe it's biased, but I think Irish is number one to me, and then a very close second is Jamaican.
Yeah. It's fun. It's always upbeat and happy. It's never sad or mean. It's joyful.
Yeah, it's that island time thing, man. Like I was working at this tiki bar, and I had my back turned. I was making a drink, and I hear this huge, thick, booming Jamaican accent come over my shoulders, like, "So what rum should I drink in this rum shop?" And I apologize if my Jamaican accent is offensive. There's going to be lots more of it.
Buckle up.
Yeah, there's just no talking about Snow and Informer without putting on your ersatz Jamaican accent. That's what I heard. Like, what the rum should I drink in this rum shop? And I didn't know who it was. I just shut it back over my shoulder. I'm just like, I'm not telling anyone with that accent what kind of rum they should drink. Like, you tell me.
You tell me.
And there's this dude that I ended up making like really good friends with. He's Jamaican. Like he's happy. He's the life of the party. You know, he's a scuba diver. He's in great shape because he's going to spend all his time at the beach. So I think he wakes up in the morning and knocks out like 1,000 push-ups and sit-ups, and then it's like, I'm time to face the day.
And then does he smoke a little weed? I mean, it's so stereotypical, but this is why they're so happy, right?
For sure. For sure he does. So you can understand why like 13 or 14-year-old Darren O'Brien falls in love with reggae, because what's his choice? Like he's an Irish Canadian kid. Like,
he's a product of his environment. Like, you know, he would have to like really resist it to not be, you know?
Yeah. So apparently they're playing the Jamaicans are playing these reggae beats, you know, like dubstep things. They call it dance hall, and to tell you the truth, I'm not really sure what the distinction is between dance hall and reggae. I think one of the I couldn't decide this week like what was more ridiculous, like young Darren O'Brien falling in love with the Jamaicans around him and learning to talk like them and learn their language and learn to speak like them, or me trying to learn it in a week. There's just no way. There are so many words in the song. It's like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And you can't find it anywhere. You know, there's no way to track it down. I couldn't get a hold of my friend Justin. He's somewhere like off of the island somewhere. He's not answering phones. He's on island time.
God dang it.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I read. Like I was literally reading articles like 15 Jamaican patois phrases you should know for your next vacation. So here's Darren O'Brien, who's actually like getting involved in Jamaican life and listening to the actual music and listening to its rhythms and backing up tapes and listening to it over and over again. And I'm reading BuzzFeed articles. So
Right.
I can find an angle to make fun of him with.
You're trying to Rosetta Stone it, and he, you know, was immersed in it.
He's actually like living inside it. It's amazing to me to think though, because would he have, like, if he was if he suddenly found himself in a Spanish speaking neighborhood, or if his parents had up and moved him to Montreal, do you think he would have embraced French or Spanish as much as he embraced?
I think so. I think you're a product of your environment, and like, you know, you would have to actively resist it not to.
Yeah. But I mean, this is like literally speaking a whole language. And like we're gonna have to get into like what so he's a tough kid. Like he's coming from a tough part of town. It's a poor section of town. He falls in love with reggae music. He's got a next door to him. There's a guy named DJ Prince or becomes to be known as DJ Prince. He becomes his friend, and they're like in the basement. You know, instead of playing guitars and drums, now they're spinning records. And Darren, who's not quite called Snow yet, is learning the Jamaican language. He's learning the rhythms of it. He's learning to sing reggae, which he starts to do kind of around town with his Jamaican friends. And that doesn't sit well with the nice boys of Canada, or the tough guys of Canada, right? Oh, this white guy hanging out with the Jamaicans. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do like a shitty Canadian accent as well, just to try to keep the score even.
Okay.
But he finds himself getting in.
Can you hear my dogs? Do I need to pause?
I can hear him, yeah. I figured there was something.
Sorry, I think someone's dropping off a UPS. Sorry, listeners, I may cut this out, I may not. Maggie is a bitch. She will calm down in a second.
It's life. No worries.
Okay, try to keep going.
So he starts to be like he's acting outwardly Jamaican now. He's starting to dress a little bit more Jamaican, and of course he's speaking in this Jamaican slang, this Jamaican patois, as they call it. And that's starting to raise eyebrows amongst the other local kids who are starting to call him names and pick on him a little bit. So he's getting really, really fighty, and that just it grows and grows as he gets bigger and stronger. Anyway, he finds himself in a restaurant, and he's shining on some ladies by rapping to them reggae style.
Nice.
That doesn't sit well with some construction workers who are also in the restaurant. So Snow and a friend of his, as you do, run into the kitchen and grab the butcher knives, because there's no other way to deal with that. If somebody's making fun of you, you grab the knives and you start stabbing people.
Oh, God.
That's how you deal with conflict, Diane. That's
in Canada,
what you do.
No one's packing. Well, I don't know the gun laws in Canada in the early 90s.
Must have been. He's like, okay, hold on a second, I got to go get the knives. So apparently, there's a big restaurant brawl, like a proper knife fight and everything like that. And Snow's friend, who's fighting alongside him, stabs the guy, hurts him. He doesn't die, but he hurts him. So so Snow ends up getting charged with 2 counts of attempted murder, and he goes to jail for 8 months. He's in jail for 8 months, not saying a word, before his friend confesses to the stabbing, and that's when Snow is found or released. For I don't know if that means like not guilty or no fault or whatever the fuck. I don't know. He gets out of jail, but that's where the song comes from. I couldn't find who he thought was informing on him, because it certainly sounds like Snow was just doing the noble gangster thing, like the police caught me, I'm not the one who did it, but I'm keeping my mouth shut because I'm not going to snitch on my friend.
Right.
All the references that I read to the song obviously talk about how when he's writing about an informer, like this is literally a jailhouse song. Like we're going to go through some of the lyrics. I thought it was just like this goofball white guy talking about. I misunderstood some of the lyrics. Like I thought it was. There's a line. He says that I was born and raised in the ghetto. I always thought the line was I was born and raised in Canada. So I always thought it was like this goofy teenage kid,
right?
Knowing that he was using like knowing maybe
North
not understanding.
Like I don't
exactly. Like I thought he was well aware that he was borrowing an accent and borrowing a language, and then just saying goofy things about where he grew up.
Yeah.
Like my toes used to show.
Yeah.
Like I'm not from a rough part of town, but my toes used to show too. So I kind of I sort of related to it like that. I thought he just picked up the accent over the course of a couple of weeks and went, I'm going to write this song. I didn't realize that it was this full immersion.
We thought he was a poser.
We sure did. I didn't realize he was an actual stabby guy who'd been to jail a couple of times and then did the proper jailhouse thing. I'm not snitching you out, brother.
Yeah, I'm going to write a song about how you are, but I'm not snitching on the snitch. Yeah,
exactly. So he's in jail and he starts writing Informer. He gets out of jail and he goes. His friend, the DJ, has been like traveling to New York. They say that like he's taking vacations. Like that's not a vacation. Like I know what that is. That's an exploratory trip. His friend was going to New York on vacation. He's obviously going there to try his hand at hip hop. To meet people in Brooklyn, and he does. He meets this guy MC Sean, who's a character that I didn't know about. Like I don't know shit about hip hop, so I'm learning these things. MC Shan and KRS-One, who I do know.
I do know that one.
He appeared on an REM record. So I've known KRS-One since like 1992. I didn't realize that KRS-One is like a real seminal, like hip hop firmament figure. He's like a Thomas Jefferson figure in the hip hop world.
Right.
I'm that dumb. I apologize. No one can know everything, and I don't know anything.
I know about KRS-One because of Sublime, which is more white boy Jamaican.
Yet more.
Rest in peace, Bradley Noel. And I will fight anyone who says that Sublime is shit and like groups them with like 311 in those bands. And I was like, 40 Ounces to Freedom is a great album. I will fight for Sublime. Hold on, I'm gonna yell at my dogs real quick. I hope you can hear me. Maybe I'll leave that in. It's the Terminix guy is here and he's like washing our windows and stuff. So my dogs are like furious. Sorry. Okay, keep going.
No worries. My favorite thing about Sublime, and I didn't notice it was like a super popular like internet meme, like the I can play the guitar like a motherfucking riot. Ring, ding, 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 ding.
I implore you though to look up Bradley Noel singing kind of just like solo acoustic at one of his concerts, Sunday Bloody Sunday, and it's beautiful. It's so good. He was fantastic.
Oh, I do want to check that out now.
Mhm.
So his buddy has met MC Sean in New York. MC Sean apparently had some kind of like not blood feud, but some kind of like answer back, like insult rap battle kind of like thing going on with KRS-One, and obviously KRS-One went on to have a much bigger career. I know because I have heard of KRS-One and only heard of MC Sean. Am I even saying that right? Probably not.
I don't know.
This week. Anyway, MC Sean starts, or excuse me, Snow's friend, DJ Prince, starts selling MC Sean about like, you're not going to believe this guy that I have in Canada. Like, yeah, he's a white guy. Yeah, he's a Canadian white guy. Yeah, he speaks fluent Jamaican patois, and he can do this speed rap, multi-syllabic rhyming like nobody's business.
It is impressive.
Yeah. I guess MC Sean was just like, okay, I want to meet this like as a novelty act. Like,
show me.
Probably bringing him in as like a prank monkey. Like he gets out of jail, and they bring him down there, and MC Sean hears him and just goes, "Oh, holy shit, we got to start right now! Like come to my house tomorrow." So Snow goes over to his house. By the way, Snow, did you stumble on this?
Oh, what? I don't know what you're about to say.
Super notorious, outrageous white boy.
I saw a couple of different, that was one thing. And then there was, oh God, I wrote so many notes down. That was one that they said, and another one they said it could have just been a nickname because he's a white boy. But yeah.
I think it's probably both things. I think it probably started off as he's a white boy from Canada, so you might as well call him Snow.
Right.
Let's
Vanilla Ice was taken, so Snow is the only.
Dig a little deeper. So he goes to New York and he starts recording with MC Sean, and they're working on Informer because Snow is just out of jail. While they're there, like MC Sean's not making a whole lot of money apparently. Like he's got he's got a family and everything to take care of. So Snow is just like, well, he's a Canadian dude, so in New York, so what does it really matter? He's wandering, like apparently he just like goes down to the grocery store and just starts stealing meats and just like feeding all of MC Sean's family while he stays there for a couple of weeks, and they record Informer. Snow goes back home to Toronto, gets in another fight, and goes back to jail.
God damn.
Exactly. What are you gonna do? While he's in jail, while they were in New York, they made like they shot, over the course of a day or two, they made the Informer video, which
right.
Go and watch. Like there's a lot of bum licking in that video.
Maybe you should watch it.
I think we should attach it to this episode. It's fun nostalgia.
Oh my
anyway,
gosh.
That video starts getting played. Like it's not on MTV to start off with, but do you remember The Box?
I don't remember The Box. In my research, they were talking about The Box, and I'm like, I was an avid MTV watcher. Why can't I remember The Box?
The Box was like a pay-to-play thing. Like it was MTV, but you could basically be your own DJ. Like there was like an 800 number, and you would call in, and for $1.99 or whatever, like they would play the song that was getting the most buys. So that's where Informer kind of got started. Like it was just this weird thing that people must have been just like, you got to see this. I don't mind spending another $1.99 to show you this freak show. And
okay, hold on. Pause talking about The Box because they're going to keep going. I'm going to lock them in my bedroom because it's making me insane. So just hold on. Okay. God bless Canada. Fuck those dogs. Go.
So it starts getting like a lot of plays on the Box because people are paying their $1.99 or whatever it is to show their friends like this bespectacled, strange looking, like he looks like Snow looks like the shop teacher.
Yes.
at your high school. He just looks like you say, there's two different versions of Snow in that video. There's the one where like he's in his regular reading glasses where he does look like a school teacher. And there's one where he's in like the shamrock and the weird round glasses, where he definitely looks like some square dude who has just learned this yesterday and is now spitting it out at an incredible, rate of speed. Like there's I think even in 1992, I think if I were 22 or 25 in 1992 watching that, I'd still just be like, what in the hell is this? Like, I think it would make me laugh out loud at first. This
It's
was
like
always
auctioneer micro machine man fast. Like it is impressive what he can do with his mouth.
crazy. So while he's in jail, that's when this starts to hit. Like it goes from the box to MTV in America and Much Music in Canada. In Canada, we don't have MTV, but we do have Much Music, eh?
Okay.
Much Music is like the MTV analog. It's like it's the cable TV show that features music. Obviously, there's a lot of American artists, but then they pump Canadian artists at you too. So,
Nice.
like if a Canadian has #1 in America, that's just the best thing that could ever happen to Much Music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank God. So he's literally in prison, and his song is climbing up the charts. He gets out again. Like this was a minor assault. I think he did like I remember I think he did like 8 months the first time and like 6 months the second time. But he comes out and he can't, because he's a convicted felon, he can't come into America.
He can't tour.
Yeah, he's got the #1 song in America and he can't tour it because he's not allowed in America.
Which gives him a little bit more like street cred, like, oh shit, okay.
I didn't know any of this at the time. Like you'd think that would have like filtered down to me, but no, I guess I live with my head up my
I also wasn't trying to track down Snow concert tickets either. So
now I've never, when I was younger and this song was big, obviously it was a huge big novelty song. We were all trying to sing along to it and understand it, but it goes by so quickly and it uses words and phrases that we've never heard before and in sequences that we've never heard before. There were so many that I misheard and so many that I totally just didn't understand. Like I said, I thought he was just a normal Canadian kid describing normal Canadian stuff in this ridiculous Jamaican accent.
yeah, me too.
Not the case at all.
Informer, you know, say that I'm a snowman, I go blam. I like you boom boom down. Take the man that say that I'm a snowman, stamp somewhere down the lane. I like you boom boom down. Informer, you know, say that I'm a snowman, I go blam. I like you boom boom down. Take the man that say that I'm a snowman, stamp somewhere down the lane. I like you boom boom down.
Really, there's the intro from MC Shan, and then it basically just goes straight into the chorus. Everybody knows that. Informer. You know, say daddy, me snow, me, I go blame is the actual.
Like toddler talk.
Yeah, it does sound like toddler talk to our ears, but I guarantee you when it's big tough Jamaican dudes saying it to you, it's not toddler talk anymore.
No, I wouldn't dare say it to his face.
That one's very serious.
There's a Jamaican proverb that I always remembered. It said, no call alligator longmouth till you pass him. I think it's so funny. So true.
It reminds me of one of my favorite like Jack Handy sayings. Before you judge a man, walk a mile in his shoes, because by then you'll be a mile away and you'll have his shoes.
Those are great.
A licky boom boom down is the lyric that I have here, but I've seen it both ways. I've seen a licky boom boom dem and a licky boom boom down. And evidently
dem makes more sense from what I hear.
Evidently there is a distinction. I thought licky boom boom down, like I always thought because of the video that this was ass licking.
Butt licking.
Yeah, because the video, like all rap videos, has a real focus on a lady's derriere.
Yes.
I always thought that licky boom boom, that's not what it means.
And I will say, I always thought a licky boom boom down sounded like, how do you say it? A sex worker who English is not her first language is propositioning you with a blowjob. Like, a licky boom boom down. Me love you long time.
Exactly. Whatever you like, I'll do for you.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but yeah, that makes a hell of a lot of sense.
A licky boom boom down. Me flip pillow.
Sure thing, pirate lady. No, apparently, if you're Jamaican, if you're Islander, if you say I'm gonna lick someone down, that means you're gonna knock somebody out. Like you're gonna like we kind of had the echoes of that. You know, it's like Archie and Reggie when they would fight in the comics. They were, I'm gonna lick you good.
Oh
like
yeah,
that
yeah. Well, I also heard someone, okay, on Song Facts, they talk about all this research and then people can comment. And one comment I thought was interesting, and I could have been swayed this way, is a licky boom boom dem was him saying he's kissing the police's ass. That's another one, which I was like, I could have been swayed to believe that too.
Yeah, that the informer was kissing the policeman's ass.
Yeah.
Where am I?
Detectives man say daddy.
Yeah, Detective man say daddy me snow me stab someone down the lane. So just like that's what they're saying. Like I had no idea that that's what this like this song is literally about the police coming into his home and grabbing him because he stabbed somebody down the street.
Yes. Yes.
Coming out, they blow down my door. Rain it could pour through my window, so they put me in the back the car at the station. From that point on, I reached my destination. Where the destination reaching out the east detention. Where I look down my pants, look up my bottom, so informer.
Police, them, they, and I apologize if this is sounding condescending, but I have to read it slowly because it just doesn't triple off my tongue. Yeah. Police, them, they come and they blow down me door. So the police have knocked down his door. One come crawl through my window. They came through his window. So they put me in the back of the car at the station. And from that point on, me reach my destination, where the destination reaching out of East Detention. East Detention is the Maplehurst Correctional Unit where he was spending his time.
Okay.
And he's up for attempted murder. So he's not like, he's in with the tough guys. Like
yes.
He's in with the guys who are murderers.
This is a county lockup. Yeah.
Where they look down me pants, look up me bottom too. That was the line that really kind of, pardon the pun, but really snowed me. I can't believe that I've been listening to this since I was 12 years old, that I didn't know how serious it was, that I didn't know how serious a person Snow was, and that I had no idea that the lyrics referenced an anal cavity search.
A cavity search, yes.
Like, no, this is not the fun little novelty song I thought it was. This is hardcore Folsom Prison Blues. It goes through the chorus again. So bigger dem are, they think dem have more power. Depon phone me say that 1 hour, me for want to use a once, and now me call me lover.
So you get one phone call to call your person.
Yeah.
Very wordy. Okay.
Lover who me calling, and a one to me, and me lover in my heart down to my belly. So he loves her, loves her, loves her.
Deeply, deep love.
Yes, say daddy, me snow me, I feel cool and deadly. Yes, the one MC Sean and the one Daddy Snow, together we love him, is a tornado. So Snow and his buddy MC Sean, good with the ladies, Diane.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Tornado, good with the ladies.
They know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It's like a tornado. Mm-hmm. Going to bed with him is like, it's like having your whole barn blown down.
That's what I like in bed.
You want your barn blown down?
I want to be spun around the room like a tornado. I want it to be dangerous.
That sounds like hot Canadian dirty talk. You want to come over here and blow my barn down? I thought you'd never ask, Shirley. I thought you'd never ask. Don't use that kind of language around the little ones.
Hey.
So in the third verse, it starts to like this song is kind of all over the place. Like obviously it's called Informer. Clearly we have references to going to prison, the police arresting you, and then having a flashlight up your bum.
Yes.
But then it's then you have to have like just like the rap bona fides lyric, and in this one it's just, so listen for me, you better listen for me now. Listen for me, you better listen for me now. When me rock the microphone, me rock steady on steady, right? He's good on the mic. Mm-hmm. You can't pick up a microphone without
when I rock the mic, I rock the mic, right? Yeah, okay.
Yes. But then, so yes, a daddy, me snow, me are the article Dawn. He's the real thing.
Okay.
But the in and out, but the in and out dance, and they say where you come from, where are you
People
from?
say, do you come from Jamaica? I remember this part of the song. I remember like hearing this part.
That was like the only part that I think I had anywhere close to right when I was a kid. People them say you come from Jamaica, but me born and raised in the ghetto, and I want you to know. That was the line I always thought was, but I was born and raised in Canada. I thought was pure black people, man. That's all I know. This kind of makes me wince a little bit because that's not all you know. Like you're
You know your
Like,
parents.
yeah, exactly. You're from a white neighborhood, and then a bunch of cool Jamaican people moved in around you, and those are the people that you
You
felt
chose to hang
received
out with.
by, and you chose to hang out with. To say like pure black, that okay, and that
Yeah.
kind of. Yeah. Yeah, me shoes are a tear up, and me toes used to show up. Where me born in are the one Toronto. So that was the kind of like the flag wave, and we couldn't believe this was the #1 song, and it's actually name check in Canada and Toronto.
Yeah.
That was a weird sense of pride that was coming in there. Come with a nice young lady, intelligent, yes, she gentle, and Ari.
I remember this part too.
Yeah. Everywhere we go, me never left her at all. Yes, a daddy snow, me are the Rome dance man.
What is that?
I don't know, but I'm definitely bringing that into my casual conversation. How you doing, Ben? I'm the Rome dance man.
Okay.
And then just walking away. How you doing?
Hold on,
I'm the
hold on.
Rome
Let me
dance.
see if I can break this down. Everywhere we go, I never. Okay. Yes, a daddy snow, me are the Rome dance man. Roam between a dance and in a nation. Okay, never mind. Lost me. Can't do it.
You never know, say daddy, me snow, me are the boom shakata. I dare you to Google shakata
Sure.
and try to come up with what that.
I don't want to.
Like, here's a lesson for you out there, everybody. Doing Google, that's not research. That's not research. Like, I'm sure there's probably plenty of people that I could have gone to and asked, like, what is shakata, and actually got an answer. But instead, I'm sitting here looking ridiculous, saying Google wouldn't tell me what it was, so now I'm stuck.
I don't know who to call.
Me sitting around cool. I moved down quite a bit. Me
Okay.
sitting around cool with my dibby girl. Police knock my door, lick up my pal, rough me up, and I can't do a thing. Pick up my line when my telephone ring. Take me to the station, black up my hands, trail me down because I'm hanging with the snowman. Now this is the MC Sean lyric. So MC Sean gets scooped up just because he's hanging out with Snoo.
And he gets
Anyway.
thumbprint. That's black up my hands.
Yes.
Very, very visual. Okay.
So it's a proper prison song. That to me, that's my surprising takeaway from spending a couple of days researching Informer was several things. One, it's a proper prison song.
Yes.
Two, I had no idea that the amount of time and effort that Snow put into becoming a proper reggae performer. And three, he's a respected reggae performer. Like, it's only, I think, in Canada and America where we think of him as this flash in the pan, white boy rapper. Like, in Jamaica, he actually has many hits. Like, he has beloved reggae anthems.
I'm glad you did that research because I didn't. I wanted to know how well he was received and respected by Jamaicans, but I think he does it so good that they're like, yeah, we feel seen. The
answer seems to be really well, and I'm sure that it's a matter of taste. It's like one thing saying like, oh, Americans love Sinatra. Like, well, yeah, no, you can find plenty of people who are sick to death of Sinatra.
Yeah.
Americans love Elvis. You'll find plenty of people who's like, could you turn the fucking Elvis off? So it's like, you can't say that. But he's part of the cultural firmament there. Like his songs are actually like they're seen as legitimate reggae. He's worked with some of the biggest reggae artists, like the most respected reggae artists around.
Yeah.
There's a reason this song kind of bounced back up on Spanish language radio in 2019. Daddy Yankee from Puerto Rico made a song called Con Calma, which means calmly. But it's set entirely to the rhythms and the pace of Informer. Snow, wrote a few more verses, like in Spanish. Because the Jamaican patois draws from English, it draws from Spanish, and then it draws from a variety of African languages. Again, I spent so much time admitting to my ignorance here. For the longest time, when I was a kid, like you'd hear the Jamaican accents, on TV, and I always wonder, like what language did they learn to speak English from? You know what I mean? Like, you can tell when somebody has a French accent or a German accent or a Russian accent. It just did not. I didn't know. Nobody told me. I didn't know that they speak English on Jamaica. That English is the official language of Jamaica, but because of the history of colonialism and the history of the island, it's a mismatch of English, Spanish, and African languages.
It's really cool. Like it's English with a heavy accent. It's a really cool creation.
Yeah, I would probably have been dumb enough, like to ask a Jamaican person in my mid-20s, like, well, what other languages do you speak? Like, I only speak English.
Yeah. Huh?
Okay.
Really?
That can't be true. It clashes with my ignorance.
God, that should be on a bumper sticker. Just that phrase. What a blank can't be true. It clashes with my ignorance.
So apparently, and like as of this article that I had read that I think was published in like 2019 or 2020, snow is still like restricted. Like he has to get like special travel visas if he wants to come into the United States, and they're difficult to get. Apparently, he can travel to Jamaica and Asia fairly easily because he's also huge in Japan.
Always.
Yeah.
Why can't we get huge in Japan? I want to push Rock the Cash Bar into Japan because that's where nobodies get big in Japan. Tell your Japanese friends, listeners.
Is it just Japan? Where else would I want to be big in Australia?
Oh, that'd be
That would be
great.
really cool. I would love to just be because you can speak English freely, but you're still like a novelty act. You don't have to learn another language or anything like that, but then you still have the privacy. That's why being a hockey player would be the greatest thing in the world.
Oh,
Because you make millions of dollars, you're a super famous athlete in your lane, but you can go to the grocery store in Tampa, Florida, and nobody gives a fuck who Steven Stamkos is.
that's great. Yeah, that's true. What was I think Paul talked about it last time, being Brian Regan famous is the best kind of famous. Like you can sell out a huge auditorium and then just still go to the grocery store and not get bothered.
I'm going to add being snow famous. I think being snow famous is definitely the thing because he's got to have the number one song. This is his album, 12 Inches of Snow, was multi-platinum many times over in Canada, in the United States, in Asia. Like it's like he has proper big rock star coin.
Yeah.
Assuming that he didn't gamble it or drug it or just frit it away. Like the guy literally, and he's still making royalties. He can still tour Jamaica, Asia, but he's still just living a quiet life in Toronto, which is amazing to me. Like,
that's great.
Anyway, so according to this article that I read, he and Daddy Yankee hadn't actually met each other. Like they collaborated. They did this kind of like all through whatever technology or anything like that, whatever permission that Snow had to give Daddy Yankee to allow him the rights or whatever. Snow had no idea. Obviously, he knew that Daddy Yankee is a very, very big, reggaeton artist, and this could be very good for him. He didn't realize that he was going right back to number one on certain charts.
Right.
Like, was a very, very big song on Spanish language radio, even here in Houston in 2019. It was huge. So the article that I read said that he can't come to America to meet Daddy Yankee, which he really wants to do. I think he said like I haven't even talked to him on the phone. Like they just recorded together. He said I don't want to like just thank him over the phone. Like I want to give him a big hug and say, "Yo."
Yeah.
Like, thank you for putting me back on top. That's a really charming video too, by the way. Like watch Kung Kalma. Like,
Okay,
really,
yeah, I meant to. I got behind on the research on this, and I watched the Informer video. But yeah, I kept reading about that, and I remember the song, but I was like, oh, you don't see videos now like you used to. You have to go look for them on YouTube.
Yeah, I think the famous lyric is changed from "I lick you boom boom damn" to "I lick your poom poom girl," which I think means exactly what you think it means.
Okay.
Diane.
Okay.
I think it means "I'll lick your boom boom." I think it means
your front
butt.
butt.
Yeah.
Your
I
South
think it means
Virginia.
Your South Virginia.
That's what I call it.
I was trying to do the bait and switch where I was just going to make it really innocent after that, but no, it's much better that way. The front butt. I'm gonna lick your Virginia. I'm good.
I've been trying to make South Virginia take off forever, and I'm the only one who loves it. And now maybe apparently you.
I like South Virginia.
Okay,
I bet she's got a pretty South Virginia. That's a thing that you can say publicly, and nobody will know what you're talking about, except your bartending buddy. There we go.
You got to keep your South Virginia clean.
Okay. This story has absolutely nothing to do with Informer. It's just one of the hardest times I've ever laughed in my life. Years ago, I worked with this very attractive lady who was probably only in her mid-30s, but I was in my early 20s, so I thought of her as an older woman. She was from Alabama, and she had a mile-long Southern accent.
Yeah.
She bartended at night, but she worked in a tattoo parlor during the day. So she would do piercings. And a woman came in, and she wears the big magnifying glass, and she wanted her clitoris pierced today, Dan. So I put the magnifying glass down. She took her panties off, and I looked up at her, and I said, "Girl, you have got to take better care of your vagina."
No.
Because it was just like the sweetest, like most matronly, like Dolly Parton Southern accent. Just the sweetest.
Oh,
because she had like these gorgeous eyes. Like all I could picture is like her like looking up like through that magnifying glass. Girl, you have got to take better care of your vagina.
You just said that so funny. And I'm sorry, I have to address this for the listener. Ben, your mic has been awful today. It's going like in and out. I'm gonna have to play with it in post. We're gonna have to get you a better one. But just then when you said that, it was just so quiet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Girl, you gotta take. Well, did she describe what the hell was wrong with it?
She probably wanted to, but I was too busy just rolling on the floor. I was just busting a gut laughing. I never asked for any details of what specifically was wrong.
Girl, but brush its hair. I don't know. Put a bow in it. I will say back in the early 2000s, like 2001, I was on the forefront of operating a laser hair removal machine. When it was brand new technology, I worked at a place called Midtown Laser Derm, and we did tattoo removal. I removed tattoos from people, and I removed hair from people. And no matter how many times we told people, like, this is not like waxing. Don't come in with the bush. We need you to shave it as close as you possibly can. Because if the laser sees like a hair grown on the skin, it'll like tattoo it to your skin. Like, it needs to be shaved. And then the laser looks for the dark hair follicle under your skin and explodes it. So no one read the fine print. They didn't pay attention. And so if they didn't, to me, I was always like, we need to build a restroom with a shower here, hand them a razor, they go in there and take care of it. But instead, I had to do it. I had to shave, not just young girls, old lady. I had to like tighten that skin and shave vaginas before I got in there, and then like tortured them with the laser. It was the whole time I was like, I am not a doctor. I took a 2-hour course to learn how to operate this machine. I should not be this deep in so many vaginas.
Look, I'm firing a laser into your cooch. You show me some respect. If I tell you to shave that thing down, you shave it down.
And it's so weird. Like, we're in this room and there's no water, so I'm dry shaving it. Like, it was a nightmare, Ben. And I was like, where's all this hair supposed to go? Like, I don't have a vacuum cleaner. Like, I was like, we need to send them back home when they do this. Like, I reschedule. I can't do this anymore. Ugh.
To recap, Jamaican patois is very difficult to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Prison is an incredibly scary place.
Mm-hmm.
Take good care of your vagina.
Get your South Virginia in order.
I think that's Informer by Snow. I think we did it.
I think we did. This was really, really fun. I have some other stuff to do. Oh, and I'm going to tell everybody, Jeremy Essig is doing Moon Tower Comedy Festival this week. So there is no connecting snow to tinted windows, but I'm sure he had a really wonderful and quick way to do it. He'll probably text me.
I think Snow is an island unto himself, totally untouched by tinted windows. It can't be done.
Before we draw next month's Patreon, I want to give a shout out, first of all, to the ladies at Dumb Love Podcast. Thank you for this really fun suggestion. And everybody, go listen to Dumb Love. If you like comedy and true crime, they tell, each episode, they tell like a couple of quickie episodes about the dumb things people do for love. And they tell one like love story and one that's like murder, like true crime. And both are always like equally good. I listen, it's the one podcast I do not miss every week. So I really love it. Listen to Dumb Love. And also last week, we sponsored Lima Times podcast, and they gave us a big long shout out. So I'm just going to give them a shout out right back. So if you are in Houston, you don't have to live in Houston. If you don't live in Houston and somehow love the Astros, Go listen to Lima Time. They are an Houston Astros podcast, and they also talk about lots of other things. And we've had both of the hosts on our show, Patrick McClellan and James Yasko. And James Yasko could be in this box because he is a Patreon member. So right now we are going to draw for May Patreon. Let's see. We have a James Yasko in here, and we have one more of Ben's family members plus a few others. So let's see. All right. May Patreon is James Yasko.
Yes.
I did not do that on purpose, I swear. So it's not going to be another Pernice Brothers song, I'm sure, but we're going to let James pick next month's song that we cover. Okay, talked about that. All I have left is next week. So a while back, I forgot to address it, that I told everybody we were going to have Sara Talamash on to do our live podcast, and we were going to do Like a Virgin. Then we had scheduling conflicts and she couldn't do it. We'll have her back later. And then we were going to have Mike McCrae on, and then he had a scheduling conflict. And then we asked Paul to do it, which I'm so glad we did, because that episode was so fucking funny to me. I'm still laughing about that episode. But I called McCrae, and next week we're going to have McCrae on the show. And I don't know what song he's picking yet, but I'm 100% sure it's a Led Zeppelin song. We are finally going to cover Led Zeppelin.
Excellent.
Yeah. And for the listeners, we're going to work on Ben's microphone. We're going to get something done about that. I'm going to try to fix whatever I can in post, but yeah, it was really going in and out today.
I'm sorry, everybody. I'll get it fixed.
Okay, we'll do it. This was fun. I'm glad to be back. And this was a fun episode.
Yes, me too. And
Licky boom boom down.
1, 2, 3.
Rock the Cash Bar is produced by Diane Gallagher, music by Chuck Savage and Eddie Hawkins. Special thank you to Jeremy Essig for 6 Degrees and to Sara Wessling for the Guilty Pleasures vocals. Our website is rockthecashbarpodcast.com, and there you can find links to our Spotify playlist and to our Patreon. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.